May we see with our eyes what is auspicious. May we enjoy with strong limbs and bodies the life allotted to us. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto us all. The nature of reality. Really speaking, that is the essence of our life, really. What is the nature of this thing that we're involved with? This world that we're called upon to deal with and to make the best of. For a few years as children, we have a sort of an easy life in which everything seems to be well taken care of, but pretty soon we're launched into another realm where things become much more complicated. What should we do? And how should we deal with the various problems? These are all questions that we all face. And somehow or other we manage to get through this life more or less unscathed. Most of us. Many have problems along the way, and then the question is, why are we suffering like this? Why do we have to endure this? What is the meaning of it all? Where does it come from? Where is it going? What is the nature of this experience that we're involved in? This thing that we accept as reality, although that disappears every day, reality totally disappears. For certain hours, there's nothing that we can point to as being real. We can't point to anything. For the certain number of hours every day, we have to be totally unconscious. And yet we think that this is a wonderful state. Oh, yes, I slept so well. I slept well, I knew nothing. That's the standard. Even in the traditional scriptures, it's talked that way. I slept well, I knew nothing. Ah, how wonderful. But is it really wonderful? We knew nothing. So what was so wonderful about it? Is it wonderful to simply disappear? Is nothingness wonderful? As long as we can think about it and make a decision about it, then nothingness is never wonderful. But when we're experiencing it, we don't know anything either. Afterwards we say, it was so wonderful. But you don't know that it was wonderful. All you know, when you got up from it, when you woke up from it, you felt refreshed. But what the experience itself was, we have no idea. And yet, without it, we cannot manage for very many days. Very quickly, if we don't get sound sleep, we go to the doctor and we get this pill and this liquid and that liquid, somehow to reach that state of annihilation, really. We're annihilated for a certain number of hours every day. But that is the best that normally we can manage. But is that really, does that really show us a deeper state, a more profound state of existence? Not really, it doesn't. It's a state of temporary annihilation. But somehow that makes us feel very good. When this world totally vanishes, normally we think that when we pass away, somehow we're totally disconnected with this world, and that is considered a horrible state. Yet every day we yearn to get into that state when we are totally annihilated. That shows a level of confusion in our minds. It shows that this is the best we can do, but it certainly doesn't show a perfect or a desirable condition. So the question is there anything better? Is there anything more profound, more significant? And of course, the religions of the world insist, yes, yes, there is. But in order to experience that, it doesn't come so easily. There's certain things that are required, and each particular religion has its own requirements, and but the promise is, oh yes, this is a much better state of existence. This is in conformity with the universal law and the universal lawgiver. So that is the promise. Now, one of the conditions of that, what we are seeking is, if it only lasts for a brief while, then it is not much better than a pill that we can take, or some different form of medicine. What we want is something that is going to last for a long time. This is called in-flight refueling. Thank you. So, what does the Vedantic tradition tell us about these things? And it's very boldly stated. There's no attempt to soften the statement at all. The statement is simply made boldly, and I'll read the Sanskrit to begin with. Sarvam khalidam brahma. Sarvam khalu idam brahma. Sarvam, all. Khalu, indeed. Idam, all this. Brahman is Brahman. Anyway, we don't know what Brahman is. So far it doesn't really give us any more profound idea in that respect. But what it does is it tells you that some people in the tradition have experienced something that is the essence of everything. They call it Brahman. We don't know what Brahman is. But they say that the essence of everything is that entity, whatever the word Brahman may ultimately turn out to mean. So there is something. That is the first statement. That there is something here which is not obvious on the surface. It is not something that we superficially can see or experience with any of our senses. And it is not something that we can really achieve by a mental operation. It is nothing we can realize by our minds. I mean, you can go, you've got very abstract ideas in fields like philosophy, physics, mathematics, and very abstract ideas that require a great amount of preparation, of understanding, in order to really understand that significance. So this thing that we're calling Brahman, that is supposed to be at the heart of everything, is it something like this? Is it something that one has to go through a great deal of study and abstraction in order to achieve? If that's the case, then we'll have to do it. If the essence of everything, the heart of everything, the soul of everything, which by implication is also the goal, our goal to understand, because everything else disappears and vanishes, but this one thing is said not to disappear, not to vanish, the essence of everything. So by ipso facto, as they say, by that fact alone, it is something we should try to attain. But is it something like this that it would take an enormous amount of preparation in order to master? In that case, we could say, yes, we'll leave it to the philosophers, we'll leave it to the scientists, and they are able to do it. Fine, we will accept that there is such a thing, but it won't have much influence on us. It won't have much significance for us. What we're trying to understand is what is the nature of reality. And that is, of course, precisely what all the sciences are trying to understand. What is the nature of reality? Now, who is qualified to study that? Who is able to? Is it only, the rare few who are able to try to delve into this subject? If that's the case, that's fine, we'll let them do it, but most of us most probably will not be able to reach that level. So the requirement that we impose on this search for the essence of things is not only that it be all-pervading, that it be present everywhere, that it be the essential ingredient of every experience, but it should be something that everyone, that is accessible to everyone. Then comes the idea there's so many different types of people. Some people are very theoretically minded. They can deal with the underlying reality of things that's not apparent on the surface. Other people want a more direct experience, need a more direct experience, are not inclined to go after something that has to be dug for and attained after a great deal of effort and a great deal of concentration and study. So we demand that. We demand that whatever is the essence of things should be accessible to all who are interested in inquiring into it. Because if it is not, if it's meant for only a few, then we don't gain anything. Most likely we won't be among those few. So does such a thing exist? And these scriptures say that it does exist. Sarvam khalu idam brahma. All of this really is Brahman. That is to say, it is something. What is Brahman? Why did they use the word Brahman? Brahman, it comes from the root bruch, meaning something that grows without limit. By implication, is vast. So It is something which is all-pervading, something that includes everything, something that is included in everything. So the question is there such a thing, and can we find it? The sages have made that statement. Can we also find it? Can we also get to that understanding? The implication is, if the first study we will try to, the first assumption we will make is that it is accessible to everyone. Because, as we said, if it is accessible only to a few, it has a limited import, and we may not be among those few elite who are qualified for this. There are some religions that say, yes, only the few chosen ones can manage to achieve that realization. But let us neglect that possibility. What we're after it wouldn't be worth our effort to find something that is available to only a few, because we may not be among the few to whom it is available. So there's no, it becomes a very limited thing. So we will take the broadest possible approach. And this statement, in the Chandogya Upanishad, Sarvam Khalu Idam Brahma, they make that statement categorically. All of this is indeed that reality. That means it is within everything, it is the essence of everything, it is accessible to everyone. Tad Jalaniti is the next statement.